everybody. My name is Eric McLeod.
And I'm Chris Holden.
And it is Sunday, September 27th, and we're going to do a little rapid blow here for you all. We just watched Clash of Champions, so what a better thing to do a rapid blow about, right? The Gold Rush, they always got to tack on some extra names. I think we're going to have to tally them all up at the end of the year and pick which one was our favorite. And they always seem thrown at you last minute, too, like... Clash of Champions isn't enough. They got to give you Gold Rush. I think not even on Monday it started like SmackDown.
Wasn't it
or
Rush
that
for
was.
the Gold a week and a half ago and they changed it to Gold? I'm just kidding. It's
I
not
wouldn't
like that
be
with Horror
surprised.
Show, right? They changed the Horror Show 16 times. I was glad to hear John Cena has finally transitioned into his dream role as narrator for the opening packages of these things. It's good for John. It's about time. He's gone through his WWE career, his Hollywood career.
Well, he's
settling into this spot.
That's it. He's still lost in the ether, right? After the Firefly Funhouse match, he hasn't officially reincarnated himself as official John Cena yet, so he's just a voice lost in the midst of WWE world. So they're able to harness that in, I suppose, to do the opening package.
That's a better explanation than they're going to come up with in creative.
Well, of course, I try my best. I don't think they always do, but I do. I wanted to make the most sense possible. So you want to give me like your a brief sort of idea of the whole show before we give our little rapid blow here?
My brief summary at the end was, wow, that was a heck of a one-match show, but a heck of a one match. And then I remembered the Intercontinental Title match that kicked off the show 6 hours ago. And it felt like that. So in my final thing would have been 1 hour with that first match and that main event. Mwah. And done. Right? And what a special that would have been to leave fans talking about it and the impact and everything else, because everything else was filler. What did you think?
No, I would certainly be in agreement there that it kicked off with a bang. We can get into the sort of reasonings for this match, ended up with the timing that it got and that kind of stuff due to certain participants not being able to be in their matches. More time was allotted to the ladder match with AJ, Jeff Hardy, and Sami Zayn, and it was great. It made for a great opening match. At that match, and then the end, the Roman Reigns Jey Uso match, which we talked about on the radio show, was what we definitely predicted to be the two headliners or most showcased matches here, and they definitely were.
Even better than I had thought it was going to be as a match and as a story.
Right,
I'm finding myself now feeling like, man, I got to watch SmackDown on Friday because I want to see what this Roman Reigns is doing. And then I'm like, wait a second, what are you saying? It's SmackDown. It's WWE. I really feel like that. Yeah, I want to watch it now because I got to see what they do from tonight.
Pretty much since he's came back from SummerSlam, I've done my best to either catch it Friday nights or early Saturdays if I have to. But yeah, try to keep it as live as I can, even from just watching it live through Twitter updates and whatever. As I'm very curious how the stories are progressing there, and that was certainly those were the two best matches when we get to the kind of rapid blow here. That I think it was work rate more so in the latter match, what gave it a proper thing, and then story more so with the Roman Reigns Jey Uso thing. But man, what a goddamn story they are telling there, and in a slow progression with this heel turn of Roman Reigns. It's not just I come out the next night on SmackDown and explain my new character and my new reasonings for everything and yada yada yada. This is my reasonings, and this is always how I felt, and all this kind of stuff. Not everyone has to have that type of heel turn. This sort of slow build to it has been very, very interesting, and man, what a story it is telling, and I'm so curious to see where it's going as well.
Particularly that it's WWE again, where the land that we are not used to seeing this style of storytelling from, and I feel like we got a long way to go still. I think tonight planted a couple of seeds, and I'm almost feeling, dare I say it, in the same vein that we talk about the FTR Elite storyline, in the way of there are a couple little seeds planted tonight that could go in 2 or 3 different directions on Friday. And each one of those you could see as being its own interesting little twist into another thing. So I'm really left with I don't know what they're going to do next, but I'm really interested to find out. So bravo, guys. Thank you for doing what I've been asking for maybe 5 years from the WWE now. So
Yeah, I think, and especially out of this heel turn from Roman, right? To get this,
Yeah.
like, we always wanted it, but I didn't even know this was what I wanted until, like, they're giving it to me now. Like, I didn't know I wanted the tribal chief Roman Reigns, but oh my gosh, I can't wait to see how this progresses and moves along. So yeah, it seems like the main event is certainly what triggered the both of us here.
We haven't talked about the thumbnail yet, but the headline on tonight's thumbnail is the Roman we always wanted. And it was just because that's what I thought it was going on.
Yeah.
So you to say that is exactly thoughts going through my head. That's hysterical. Like, yeah, it was the tribal chief I never knew I needed in my life. And thank God, thank you.
Yeah, totally. No, it seems like we were definitely both enamored by this main event. So let's kind of run our way through the rest of this main card here, and then give some more of our thoughts there when we get to the main event. So yeah, like we had mentioned earlier, I mean, I'll give it a little sort of love. Cesaro and Nakamura got thrown on the pre-show, which was kind of odd with the fact of everything kind of being shifted. I don't know if that's the fact that they have certain obligations to have a match on the pre-show because it's aired other places like YouTube and whatever. That they couldn't just not air something. A match had to be placed there. And in the long run, I was kind of glad with the shorter cards that this wasn't on the main card and everything. But great match overall. Cesaro and Nakamura retaining their SmackDown Tag Team titles over the Lucha House Party in a fantastic match. But yeah, we kicked off with the other great match we were talking about there, AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, and Sami Zayn all having a ladder match for the Intercontinental title. And man, what a ladder match we got.
Yeah, I mean, really inconsiderate of them to open the show with the match of the night so I could turn it off for the next hour and a half. It was, I laughed at the beginning because of the examples of success they were showing for AJ Styles and Sami Zayn in particular, are actually examples of them doing a thing in a ladder match.
Right.
Matches that they showed the highlights from, they won. Neither of those were winning spots where they pulled the belts down, but they were examples of success. It's like, no, that's examples of them in a ring, but that's fine. So the match itself was fantastic. There were a few right at the beginning, Hardy and AJ looked a little bit out of sync and off time, and there was the pickup for the lift drop kick spot.
Right.
And just something didn't look right before that, during that, and a couple things afterwards. It just looked like they were off pace by a bit, but Sammy was spot on the whole time. And yeah, he was the glue that bonded it all together. The other two got into a rhythm and were fine. Particularly, they got into that little spot together, the combo moves back and forth after they came down off the ladder together, AJ and Hardy. That was a nice little bit.
No, I think like you had mentioned with the opening package stuff, they unfortunately don't have a lot of the great footage is what you would show in this if you're big fans of a lot of these guys' careers that aren't in the WWE. You really have three historians in ladder-ish match styles coming together here. I mean, Sami Zayn not as Sami Zayn, El Generico having death ladder matches in Ring of Honor and things like that were historic. And then AJ Styles coming from TNA and the X division type things they would do over there. And then Jeff Hardy, the stuff you're known from in WWE with the TLC. So to clash all three of those together, but again, you don't have the footage to show all that kind of stuff. So they have to sort of do what they can to kind of tell you that, but then they kind of did a better job in the match to kind of tell you that.
Oh, definitely.
So these guys were, definitely willing to take some pretty big bumps here for...
Ironic with the footage as you were talking about, though, because even with the footage that they do own, all the WWE footage of the Hardys in the ladder matches, well, they couldn't cut to big screens of that because they didn't want to show Matt.
Yeah, all they show is like the WrestleMania from like last year or whatever.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah, the last one. And I thought it was funny as well. Or do you think it's funny that as they're realizing this, that we've got an AJ Styles and we've got Sami Zayn with all this heritage and history in ladder matches and real success in it. And this is the best video we have of each of them, our own one. Have we maybe dropped the ball? Have we maybe misutilized our own guys here? Because we should have our own footage by now of these guys in these kind of things too.
Oh, so for sure.
They do now after tonight. Right? But, yeah.
Yeah, no, you're certainly reminded of the fact that, like, oh yeah, I forget that El Generico and Kevin Steen had ladder wars like a bunch of times in Ring of Honor, and they were insane, like some of the craziest ladder matches ever. So to see him do some of those not some of those spots, but to be as creative in this style of match. You can tell that give him some props and things like that, he can, obviously tell a bit more of a story, and that's what we got here. I really enjoyed that when we got to the finish. They obviously had a few sloppy spots. That one crazy ladder spot with Jeff like crawling back down the other side while they was trying to lift it up, and then they tipped it to the outside, and I was just like, hands on my head, worried about Jeff Hardy trying to kill himself there. But
Sammy was as gentle with putting the ladder down as he could possibly be. But once gravity took over, that bitch did not care at all about Jeff or the fucking ladder or how he landed. And gravity said, "Go fuck yourself, Hardy." And it tried to crush him. So it looked like it cut him in half on the one side of his ribs. Like, God.
Just real nasty kind of fall. So glad he's hopefully going to be okay after that. But yeah, the introduction.
Don't call Sammy to build a bridge. That was the other thing.
That's true. Yeah, or put the table a little bit closer. I guess with COVID, things are a little bit more distance, and they haven't quite remembered that maybe the announce table's not as close as it used to be. So
get the 18-foot ladder next time.
Yeah, next time they're gonna have to take out Michael Cole's eye with the corner of the ladder when they put it up. No, I think, some great ladder spots and an interesting finish introducing the handcuffs. You kind of expect the handcuff to the ropes type thing, but I like the using it through Jeff's ear. That totally seems like a Vince type thing. Like, oh, let's put it through his ear, pal. Like,
don't you ever worry, though, that people are going to do that to you?
Well, fair. I don't have any spaced ears, so I'm safe.
I'm concerned on a daily basis someone's going to get my piercing and handcuff me to a ladder. It's always
I guess I have my nose. If someone actually came in and tried to do that, that'd be pretty, good on them if they got that close. But, no, I think that was kind of creative, and then looping AJ through the ladder. And then I don't know why AJ didn't just kind of topple them all over. I guess he didn't want to break his arm or whatever. So an interesting thing, and nice to see them pull the trigger on getting Sami Zayn the big win here.
It was realistically, we're reset, right? Back to pre-COVID for as far as the Intercontinental title is concerned. It's back on Sami Zayn now. We had a great summer for Jeff Hardy. He got a rebirth and a revitalization story out of it. We got some excellent title matches, starting with the tournament final between Bryan and AJ, and then AJ's subsequent defenses of the belt. The title regained some prestige, and this match certainly did not do that side of it any harm whatsoever.
No, I think for sure, yeah, ready for all parties to move to the next chapter. So we'll see what happens in the Intercontinental scene there, when maybe we both will be tuning into SmackDown after what we get to in the main event. A little bit of backstage shenanigans. Drew Gulak winning the 24/7 title quickly off R-Truth. It doesn't last long. I think he wins it back within an hour.
So can't wait to see Truth win it back soon.
Yeah,
that was my notes.
Yeah, it just and now it's. I mean, I'm so sick of this, and I was sick of it a year ago when they introduced it. So, I mean, yeah, who knows when this will ever end, or if it ever will? Who knows? R-Truth will retire as the 1 millionth time 24/7 champion. And speaking of champions, what was our next match?
We got Zelina Vega versus Asuka for the World Women's Championship. Vega impressed the shit out of me in this match. She is so good in the ring. Yep. Why the fuck did they waste all that time introducing her to us as the manager with no story apparently in plan or in place for the boys that she was running, except for we're going to constantly tease fracture and division from day one up until the day we do split you up. Months down the road, though, we're going to run this for way too long. She was so good. If we'd been exposed to her, this Zelina as a wrestler through that entire period,
yeah,
she could have been not the out of nowhere challenger tonight, right? She could have been the credible, built up, ready to go challenger. Still, have the same kind of match, but yeah, I
wouldn't have so much of the where you sort of know what the outcome's going to be. Yeah, you didn't give her much of a fighter's chance here to take the belt off Asuka. Not enough sort of surprise is going to be happening that they were going to pull the trigger on something like that to throw the belt on her after something like this, but still an impressive performance. Asuka's a great dance partner for someone like that who's maybe a little bit not as well versed in the ring, but yeah, she's great performance wise in this. I think she's had a few more main event matches, which again is unfortunate. They think it's a good place for these people to get work rate, where then to me, it's just better for them to be on Raw having new, fresh matches. That's something else we can get to when we get to the main event, but then it's something else we'll get to with all this filler in the middle. It was just the repeat. How many times did I see all of those matches again? Like we get to the next one, Apollo Crews and Bobby Lashley. It just was, again, these two I've seen wrestle so many times. And but that was what was kind of nice to see out of Selena Vega and Asuka. It was a new, fresh sort of face in there with Asuka, able to showcase her in a different way, able to showcase Asuka in a different way, tell a different kind of story. And so. And
allow Vega to showcase her skills. It wasn't just a squish for Asuka to get used to this new wrestler. This was a credible challenge. She came out great. And then to end it in the way they did, she's obviously going to continue to be a thorn in the side. She'll get another shot. I agree. I don't expect to see Zelina Vega winning the women's title anytime soon, but we don't need to see that. No. We need to see more girls built up. It was far too long to be reliant on a one girl, a one woman division over 3 shows for a short amount of time, the Omni Flair thing.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah. Like you said, that we went to Apollo Crews and Bobby Lashley for the U.S. Championship next, a rematch in the non-rematch era. What did anything stand out? I mean,
honestly, nothing that I can think of in particular. It was again these two put on a solid performance. It's not like it's full of botches, full of boring stuff, but it's tough when it's been the 8th or 9th time I've seen these guys wrestle, or the fact that he's not fighting. Or he is still just fighting the Hurt Business. He hasn't just moved on. It's been MVP, or it's been Bobby, or it's Sheldon, or something like that. So I'm just kind of tired of it. Hoping this is sort of the end for this storyline or whatever. And if anything kind of needed to be on the pre-show, this match could have been, I think.
For sure. And I think, as you're saying, we've seen this so many times in the rinse repeat of between the segregation division of Raw, as I call it.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But we saw Retribution be elevated into a thing with the Hurt Business on Monday. So this should have been, if not T-Bar, Halloween mask guy going up for the U.S. Championship.
Slapjack.
Or at least MVP.
Or Mace.
Put one of them into the match for the title. So it's, again, a fresh face going for it. You weren't going to make a switch.
Well, why didn't they give it to Cedric? They just brought him into the team, and it's I guess that you're fighting each other. I don't know. Or Ricochet is fighting.
You could have done a 3-way, though. You could have had a 3-way match with Cedric, Bobby, and Apollo tonight, and have Cedric gets the win, so he gets the title. Now you've got a story within the group to back up on and to lean into down the road.
Totally,
Plus, you've moved on and you've moved past, and the newest guy has the belt now. Yeah, I don't know. We could rebook it all.
I was kind of thought. I even thought maybe with the entrances, I thought maybe at least some kind of progression. I saw Ricochet maybe turning and joining the Hurt Business as well. I was like, well, at least it'll be something. But we didn't even get that. We just got Bobby winning clean. And then all this really does is nothing for the build that Apollo got over the summer. So how good things were for people like AJ and Jeff Hardy on SmackDown over the summer, moving into the fall and the later seasons here. These guys feel that they're at, a total reset. This is an Apollo Crews that was reintroduced to me in the summer that, again, now has to be repolished and reintroduced to me, probably in Raw Underground. So I can't frickin' wait. Hey, and speaking of matches I can't fucking wait for, Andrade, Angel Garza, taking on the Street Profits for the God knows how many time since WrestleMania. Holy fucking shit.
Time that they don't have a manager.
Oh, well, did that fucking matter?
No, it was brutal. In fact, I'm pretty sure the finish was botched. Yeah. The way that they both looked at the ref, he just didn't kick out in time, and the ref was forced to continue to count 3. So I think they all got in shit backstage for that botch.
And what's his name looked visibly pissed.
They both did. They both looked like, the fuck, that wasn't the finish. And the referee just stands there looking like, I'm not the one getting my asshole ripped because you couldn't fucking lift your arm in time.
I'm just told to count. Yeah.
I got a count. You got a kick. I can't stay out. I'll wait for him to get out of the fucking and kill the whole show. So no, ridiculous.
No, if a botched finish, or if this wasn't already booked to be the end of this. Hopefully this botched finish is the final nail in the coffin of the Street Profits versus Andre and Angel Garza. And I just feel so fucking bad for the Street Profits. This amazing, great championship run against fucking who? Teams that either keep getting hurt or they just beat the crap out of it and they don't really have challenges for. And then to go up against what? Like challengers that don't even exist on other brands. I don't know.
These guys in the Raiders, right? That's
and then, but he's hurt now too, right? So like,
yeah,
nobody else.
Yeah, no, it's just, sad. Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs. Oh, yeah, no, we're not telling you anything you don't know about tag team division in World Wrestling.
Absolutely, yeah. So
we got a promo for another meaningless draft coming up on October 9th. Why are they doing this right before the Survivor Series, which is the brand meets brand feud, when you're going to mix guys so they can fight and meet each other that weren't on the same brand to begin with? Again, it's just such missed fucking opportunities for things that could make sense that I don't get.
Yeah, I can't. Maybe if they don't have to do brand warfare, they haven't announced Survivor Series as that, but yes, the last few years it has been rebranded as that, so it's hard not to predict that that's what they will end up doing here. So yeah, I used to enjoy a draft if they were going to do these kind of things, but they don't commit to it. There is no commitment to the shows. It exists for like a little bit, and then all of a sudden there's a need for someone to show up on this show or whatever and this kind of stuff, and it just takes out all the sort of, luster of anything like that, or the draw of a draft and separate brands and that kind of thing. Right now it's hurting them more than it's helping, because they need more variety, and they obviously know that that's why they want to do something like this, and that they feel they have to shake it up by forcing the people on different shows, and it'll change things up for the first couple of weeks, and then you'll just get sick of it again too. And I don't know, it's something that's been done too many times, and not I think the best move right now either.
It's too frequent and not adhered to, so it's lost all value. At the root of it was always to try one day to emulate World WWE versus WCW. We as fans will never buy into the fact that Raw and SmackDown are under different ownership or, competing interests. They're not. Yeah. So, there's really nothing they can do to relight that fire. And you'd think this far along on, they would be giving up, but they won't give up on R-Truth winning that 24/7 title.
No, because that's what he definitely does next. In some kind of outfit doing another wacky accent. I, can't keep track of this stuff as much as they can't keep track of who's champ and who's not. One of the sort of unfortunate things we didn't end up getting here tonight was the Bayley versus Nikki Cross match.
I
wasn't terribly stoked for it anyway, so it's not that unfortunate. I mean, unfortunate you weren't going to maybe see Bayley, but hey, we got to see her anyway. She came out to cut a promo, ended up getting interrupted by Asuka. It turned into a bit of an impromptu match, which you thought maybe was going to go a little bit longer than it did. Just led to a bit of a DQ, eventually leading to Sasha coming out, keeping their feud pretty hot here. Do you think she'll be ready in a couple of weeks for Hell in a Cell, or will they wait?
Who?
Sasha.
Why, is she really hurt?
Well, no, but she's still rocking the neck brace and all that kind of stuff. But
but no, I figured they'll. Yeah, no, I figured they'll have the match then. Like
they'll do Hell in a Cell.
My note tonight was like, she's selling that she can't barely move a muscle, but she put the effort to get into her ring gear. That was nice of her. Thank you, Sasha. I appreciated that extra, because you could have come out in your regular clothes and I'd have understood, because you're so fucking hurt. But don't worry about selling it full time. Just sell it while you're on. Next up, we got Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. World Heavyweight Championship match. Ambulance match. I hate ambulance matches and casket matches and get the guy in the thing matches for the most part, because you have to put yourself in such peril to win the match.
Right.
Particularly in this one, it's different from a casket when you roll the dead body into the casket and slam the lid shut for that dramatic finish.
Yeah.
With this, you always have to take the slightly prone person, throw them in the back, and then hope they don't. And the James Bond-esque way that Randy had the match won, and then stands back and Well, look at you trapped in there, and I'm about to close this door here.
Yeah.
I'll walk around to this side. It was stupid. So some of that was just dumb. I was waiting for the Big Show to come back and turn heel. I was kind of surprised that didn't happen before the end of the match. Probably the only missed booking opportunity of the match.
Because they'd introduced him so early. Yeah, you got to have a twist, right, with the Big Show. Yeah, I think as soon as I saw Big Show, the writing was on the wall where it was like, okay, every guy is going to get his comeuppance. Ric Flair is going to be driving the ambulance at the end as they take Randy Orton away and Drew McIntyre retains his title. And that's what we got here. They led up to a bunch of spots leading to the ambulance. All I can not complain about here is they stick to the stipulation. That's something we've talked about multiple times in different podcasts and different platforms. Stipulation matches sometimes can be very kerfluffled and too enamored with extra shit, the decisions or disqualifications or all this other kind of stuff, pinfalls and whatnot. This was just throw a dude in the ambulance and win the match, and that's all it ended up being. They ended up trying a few too many spots with that, and again, you can't. You end up looking a little goofy and silly doing so. So, yeah, I think some spots certainly look better than others, but the writing was certainly on the wall pretty early on as soon as you got the Big Show appearance, which then led to a Christian appearance. Shawn Michaels, who we already knew was coming back as he was announced on NXT that he was going to be there next week. So, I mean, not a real big fucking surprise there either. And, yeah, so Drew McIntyre retains. I assume Keith Lee is the next big feud for him.
We'll wait and see for Tuesday morning when we read the results of Monday. Quite possibly, but they could do something else. They could go with Rollins now and end the whole Mysterio thing, or at least it looks like you're going to be right, and it's going to be the daughter that joins up with Seth. Yeah. So that might put a kibosh on things happening with them for a while as Seth moves on for a bit, or it might prolong that for another year and a half. Who knows?
Who knows? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, not the biggest sort of build for a Drew win to need all this kind of help, and then also sort of anticlimactic to the return of the Legend Killer, right? To just have a bunch of this sort of cheesy comeuppance from some silly people, and for him to kind of not really sell a whole lot of it, and to lose to Drew in the end anyway. Sure. I mean, some people were saying it kind of let him kind of win clean because he had to have all the help, but I feel like that kind of hurt Drew in the end too. So,
for me, I looked at it. The match sucked. It was long, way too long for what it was. We didn't need all the guest appearances, but the cameos wanted to get their heat back. These were all top guys as well as great.
Yeah.
So, and at the end of the day, the right guy won. At least for me, I was so worried they were going to put the title on Orton, and the rumors of Orton and Edge for the championship at Mania were true.
Right.
Orton and Edge at Mania is Orton and Edge at Mania any year. That's fine. You don't need the belt on the line for that to be a special match. So I always hoped that was just totally crazy. So I'm glad that at least that trigger didn't get pulled tonight if it's going to be. Yeah, because you're starting to feel like, oh, God, stipulation match. It makes it easy to do it. They can excuse Drew's loss. And
True.
No,
I was I was pretty sold down that train as well. So again, in hindsight, a little happier to see that they didn't end up going that route. So yeah, we'll see what's next for the two of them. But yeah, let's get back to this fantastic main event. The show, again, it had some lulls. Kicked off pretty good, but then again, yeah, sort of petered off there with the majority of the shit that happens on Raw. But hey, we kick back with some fantastic SmackDown storytelling. Great video package to get you leading into this matchup if you haven't already known what is being built here. But I think, yeah, not only there was a lot of great new things you got to see. You got to finally see the new heel Roman Reigns side slowly come out during this match. You got to see Jey Uso in a singles performance. You got to see Jey Uso in the main event, like in a singles performance. He's obviously had great tag matches, and it's everyone in those kind of parties to play together. But to see someone plucked from, a total different part of the roster and put here is just so fresh and invigorating to just make you excited to just see what can happen. Not only with the story they could tell, but just with the in-ring as well. So I think this was above and beyond what I was already expecting it to be. What did you make of this match?
Oh yeah, no, it was absolutely fantastic. As Roman said earlier this week in his slam on Raw, how that show's all about cheeseburgers. We're cooking filet mignon over here on
Oh,
SmackDown,
that
and
was some
this
filet
was filet
mignon.
mignon. Like the way that I wondered during it, like when he started really going off on Little H about the tribal chief, said back out, it's family business with you, and he's looking at Jay for the tell me I'm the chief. Tell me I'm head of the table. I feed the family. Look at my cameras, my WWE. I own this place. It was the best Roman I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like it was such a great, cool,
Oh,
awesome
it started on
character.
SmackDown too, like when he was holding the belt in his face and screaming that stuff at him too. The like,
Yeah.
I just take your payday, take your beating. You're making this worse for yourself. You don't have to make this so bad. Like, I'm the head of the family, and like,
Now
yeah,
I loved. I had during the middle of the match wondering for the next trick here is which side is Jimmy going to be on? Does Jimmy recognize Roman's the head of the table? Like, yeah, I'm not as stupid as you, Jay. I don't challenge the big dog. Like,
yeah,
he is going to whoop my ass, so I'd rather be with him than against him. And that could easily come out on Friday.
yeah,
Is that a little bit of jealousy between the brothers? If you only got that shot because I'm on the sidelines anyway. They'd have come to me first, man. But you got it because I couldn't wrestle right
yeah,
now. Right? There's a lot of ways they can go, and they could even just outright go with you don't see Jay for a couple of weeks, and the next time you do, he's fully aligned back with Roman because now, yeah, but you're the tribal chief, man. I give in.
yeah,
So, or we could see him can come out and continue the battle because he was. We all know. I think nobody was going to dispute that Jey Uso is an awesome wrestler, right?
yeah,
Can he keep the personal shit? Both the Uso brothers, can they keep their personal issues outside of the ring? Stop doing that Jeff Hardy-esque stuff that ruined his main event run when he
yeah,
was younger. And if they can, and continue with performances like this, like the emotion from Jimmy when he was before he threw the towel while he's holding his brother's head, I was fucking like, yeah, man, this is enough. This is brother, you do this. You're his cousin, you motherfucker. Like, hurt my feelings. That was fucking brilliant. Like, that's
yeah,
so well done. They should be in that main event scene. They that elevated, and to get both members of a tag team, right? I mean, you think about the time. Usually, one member of a tag team is the one that moves on. That's historically the last
yeah.
time, arguably, it worked is post like Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. Who am I thinking of here? There was one guy that's really come out of a tag team in the last 10 years that's been the shining star, Booker T, right? Like,
Right, yeah, fair enough.
there's been very few other guys that you could say, yeah, that tag team pushed this guy into a main event. But these two could come out together and come into the top level, and neither
Yeah.
one of them to be the one that comes out. So I think for me, that alone made this worthwhile. And yeah, I'll be watching SmackDown now.
No, I think well, kudos to that, the storytelling in this match on both Jay and then bring Jimmy in there at the end on both the Usos part. Want to see what the progression is there, because yeah, this either could have just been the ending of that story, or he could still be riled up and want a rematch inside the Hell in a Cell, and they need to lock these two inside a cage to get a final sort of summation here, or some other kind of beatdown, or is this sort of, again, yeah, a sort of a shift from the Usos in the sense of they don't want to rile up the Chief anymore. They get this is just the respect he wants right now, and that we're better off to just sort of take a back seat to stepping on any toes and that kind of stuff, and the sort of repercussions of Reigns getting a big head and becoming the Chief. Like it was at first, they were like, well, it's the big dog, it's all that kind of stuff, and then it was the Chief, and it's all this stuff, and I don't need Paul Heyman saying it anymore. I need these boys to say it to me. This is the way it has to be. And then like him having to demand it from more and more people, and then putting the drapery on, and then it was like the wearing the different outfit. I think in a couple of weeks he'll have different music that'll be more Samoan and that kind of stuff. And like he could start wearing a headdress and this whole sort of chieftain gimmick or whatever. And then like, the next sort of appearance from The Rock shows up, or any of these other sort of Samoan stars. No, there's plenty of more story and seeds that were planted in this match. And you're still not at the fulfillment of the full new heel Roman Reigns. There was just plenty little things added in here. And I think in the next feud, we can get the next sort of layers. it all didn't kind of all get unraveled here.
I really
I
love.
still don't even think we're at the filet mignon, as he would say. Yeah.
No, for sure. There's more to come here. Like, I think that the evolution of Paul Heyman as a character and as an advisor or manager or advocate, or what's his official role this time? I'm missing the word they've used.
I can't remember either. Yeah, they had a
but
terminology for it, but
it's the
consultant
way
or
even
something
his
like
facial
that.
expressions and while he's with him, he ended the show. He's scared of Roman Reigns. He's not. He definitely fears him out of some respect, but it's fear because he could turn and kick his ass at any given moment. And while he always knew that about Lesnar, we knew and understood they're friends. They see the same way. He would put the belt on Lesnar like Dana White would put the belt on Lesnar at the end of a title match, right?
Yeah, and as if Lesnar had brought him in.
He put that thing on Roman over his head tonight like he was fucking scared shitless, like he's going to do it wrong and get beaten up for doing it wrong, or at least told off in 5 minutes, even if it's off air.
Yeah.
And that like subtle stuff from Heyman is just fucking fantastic. He's a master at promos and selling and the visual and the facials and shit. He's been doing that for decades. So this is just, it's so many little things. You know what the best part about tonight's main event was? The best part? No Fiend, no Braun Strowman, and it was a wrestling match. The world champion sold fucking moves to a guy smaller than him, substantially, who looked believable in delivering it. That was a good match.
Yeah.
Like there was none of the bullshit, man. Like fucking do this all the time. I'll come back with open arms. I'll beg you to do can we do a thing every week for a SmackDown and a Raw if they start doing good shows again? But like this was. It's
not hard either. Like it's
like that opener and the closer. Yeah, I'll watch SmackDown on Friday, and if it keeps rolling this way, we'll have more low blows in a week because it'll be something worthwhile doing it with, like AEW is.
Yeah, for sure. Like I say, I'm not praising everything on SmackDown's absolutely perfect, but at least I can always talk about the consistency, and there's like something that's being driven forward, or people you can try to latch onto, and you can look at the product not with the different eyes that I've had to sort of readjust to over the years with the way they present the product on Raw, where they almost like burden you with like trying to pay attention with stuff. They're like, well, we don't bother to pay attention, so why should you? And it just becomes frustrating. Whereas on SmackDown, you feel fulfilled to pay attention to stuff. You know that Jey Uso is a family member of Roman Reigns, or you know that Sami Zayn held the title before at WrestleMania. It didn't just get ignored and that kind of stuff. So there's like, seeds being planted and stories hopefully being drawn out and fulfilled here. So I think there was some nice moving forward, as much as the card sort of seemed like a bunch of repeats or built around one big match like this match. It was nice to see the ladder match showcase outside of that. And yeah, I think the rest of it did exactly what we thought it would and was a lot of the same old shit. And I hope that's the end of a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, the biggest rub outside of the opener and the closer, for me, the biggest part was Zelina Vega, Shawn. She's a much better wrestler than I had anticipated seeing her being in the ring against Asuka tonight.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by that. But that was my only other takeaway, that isn't like, this was a stinky piece of shit. Why did I bother? Wasted 2 hours? I could have been eating, buying candy.
All the other fun necessities in life. No, good for her to get, and nice for them to get moved off the pre-show to the main card here and have her in a more showcased position. So I think that about wrap things up for our rapid blow and some good alliteration here. Some rapid blow here on Low Blow Radio podcast. Chris, let everyone know where they can hear us.
You can listen to us live every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. if you're fortunate enough to live in Ontario, Canada, on 88.7 The River FM. If you're not fortunate enough to live in Ontario, Canada, you can catch it online, 887theriver.ca. And episodes also get uploaded to sounder.com, popular webcast site, and they get spread out from there across the World Wide Web to all the other podcasty sites out there.
That's right. And if you don't want to just hear our lovely voices, if you want to see our amazing faces as well, you can tune in here on YouTube when we repost these episodes. And if you're here on YouTube, get in the comments. Tell us what you think about things. Like, share, and subscribe as well. We all appreciate you out there. And we'll be back for another video here on Low Blow Radio Podcast.
Adios, amigos.
Now